It's Song Talk Radio.
Welcome to Song Talk Radio, the show with songwriters talking to other songwriters about the craft of songwriting. We share tips, tools, and techniques, and together we all become better at writing songs. Dialing in from our central headquarters in Toronto, I'm Neil Modi, and with me, my co-host, Phil Emery. How are you doing, Phil?
I'm in St. John's, Newfoundland, and for once I'm in sync. I think I'm actually going to be in the proper sync with the rest of the group, and I'm very excited. And finally caught up with the rest of humanity. I've always been a little slow, and I guess that was just proof.
Yes, always been a bit of a delay. Well, for the last little while, it's been a bit of a delay, but anyway, got that sorted, which is always a good time. All right, and everyone else, it'll just creep in from the side when you least expect it. Please send your comments and questions to @SongTalk Radio on Facebook or Instagram, feedback@songtalk.ca for the email, and we'll share your thoughts on the show. And please visit songtalk.ca to see the show post for this episode, to find links to resources we mention, and to download lyric and chord sheets to follow along with the songs that we feature. Tonight, we're very happy to welcome Canadian country artist Cam Brown to the show. How are you doing, Cam?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. Been really looking forward to this.
Yeah, great to have you on the show. And before we get to Cam's song, just another announcement about our songwriting challenge for this year, for 2025, is to write a song in an odd time signature. Of course, you can check out the sidebar on songtalk.ca. There's a link there to our dedicated webpage for the songwriting challenge, a bunch of past episodes and some videos and other goodies that you can look at and, start investigating your own songwriting process for writing in an odd time signature. And of course, probably within the next episode or two, we'll start announcing the dates that we'll set in the fall, probably, for sharing our own songs before we share the listener songs, which of course we're always eager to receive the challenge answers from our listeners. It's always have a great time showcasing those songs and talking about their processes and everything. So challenge time is upon us once again.
Now, you can get started. You don't necessarily have to have a deadline, but I know everybody leaves it to the last minute because humans.
If it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would ever get done.
Yes, the joys of last-minute panic.
Yes, exactly. But this time in an odd time signature. The panic is an odd time signature.
Last minute panic. Something like that.
Panic at the Disco is not going to work because most discos in 4/4.
That's right. Well, that's
although true. Heart of Glass by Blondie does have 1-3-4 measure in the middle at the end of the bridge, I think.
That's right.
Right, so never say never.
That's true.
There we go. All right. Okay, on to the main event. Joining us today is rising Canadian country artist Cam Brown, hailing from Barrie, Ontario. Fresh off opening for Dean Brody at this year's Troubadour Festival in his hometown, Cam is making waves with his original music. His debut single, Pretty Lime Margarita, recently climbed to #1 on the Canadian Indie Country Countdown and is now spinning on radio stations coast to coast. With a modern country sound that blends catchy hooks and heartfelt lyrics, Cam's also been playing songwriters' rounds in Toronto and Newmarket. With 2 songs out on Spotify, Pretty Lime Margarita and Nothing Like When We Met, he's spending the summer writing new music and heads back into the studio to record his EP this fall. Great to have you on the show, Cam.
Thank you very much. Heck of an intro. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate that.
Yes. We appreciate you sending in the intro.
Whenever you wrote that thing, geez.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's all true, isn't it?
It definitely is.
Yeah, awesome. And you didn't get a leg up from an AI to help write that intro?
No, we were talking just off camera here. I do teach high school at the moment as well, and English is the subject. So I do enjoy writing. So yes, happy to say I did that all by myself. Mm-hmm.
I was so embarrassed a couple hours ago. I commented on someone's post on Instagram, and she's a writer and a teacher of English, and I used the wrong verb tense in my reply. I was like, sorry.
It's so hard this day and age not to want to correct so much that you say. You just gotta let it slide. You know what really gets me with the songwriters and go to Spotify now. There's so many artists that I'm a big capital letter guy. But I think a lot of artists, it's just all lowercase stuff now, and this is what it is. Whatever works, whatever catches the eye, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah. Man, nothing wrong with that. Artistic license,
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Tonight we're going to be talking about Cam's song "Nothing Like When We Met." And remember, you can find the lyric sheet on the show post at songtalk.ca to follow along. Shall we have a listen, Phil?
Sitting beside you, baby, we float just like water. Said I love you as we kiss by the fire under the stars tonight. Show you my love tonight. Girl, you need to know I feel so lucky I do. We were waiting, didn't know we were waiting. Now that I found you, baby, you know I'm staying. Nothing like when the leaves cover the ground. Nothing like when rain falls without a sound. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met. Nothing like when the snow starts to fall. Nothing like when the ice begins to thaw. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met. Now walking beside you, baby, we're moving hand in hand. Don't wanna do life without you, 'cause you're my best friend. I'll hold your heart, my love, and me your part, my love. Just let go, look into my eyes, baby, then you'll know. We were waiting, didn't know we were waiting. No, we didn't. Now that I found you, baby, you know I'm staying. Nothing like when the leaves cover the ground. Nothing like when rain falls without a sound. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met. Nothing like when the snow starts to fall. Nothing like when the ice begins to thaw. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met. No. Nothing like when the leaves cover the ground. Nothing like when rain falls without a sound. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met. Nothing like when the snow starts to fall. Nothing like when the ice begins to thaw. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met. Nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above. Nothing like when we met.
Great stuff.
Hey, thank you very much. That was fun to listen to over here.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Is this now? Is the chords in the verse and the chorus, are they the same?
So yes, they are. So
Okay.
it's in the key of A, and it's very very simple pattern.
It's like a 1-6-4-5 kind of thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the other song that you had mentioned earlier, Pretty Line Margarita, slightly more chords involved in that one. That's an A sharp. But this one, I mean, for me, the hook of the song is that nothing like when love hits you like a stone from up above, nothing like that. So I didn't really have to vary too much from that. It didn't feel like an overly, complicated write. Once I just started rolling with it, and I knew that was going to be the hook. Just keep the verses simple, just get back to that chorus, and it flowed pretty easily.
Yeah, it's pretty good because you do go to the relative minor for the pre-chorus, I think, right?
Correct. Yeah, we were waiting.
Right.
Didn't know we were waiting. I did play a couple minor chords there, and then back to the majors. But yeah, it was a fun one to put together for sure.
Yeah, and that hook in the chorus is so tasty. Like, because then when the snow starts to fall, like the low legato notes, the snow starts to fall, ice begins to fall, thaw. But then it hits you like a storm from up above. Like it's very quick and it's very rhythmically
cool. Just when I was listening back to it here, I was just thinking about when I read it. So actually, or wrote it. Sorry, I wrote it back in the fall for my lovely, beautiful girlfriend Jill. About the moment that we met, and when you're in a amazing relationship, you have that everyone's got that moment when you met. So I tried to encapsulate that, and just looking out her window, the beautiful backyard, and the leaves were falling, and so I just kind of went with the kind of the seasonal elements. We got leaves in there, we got rain, we got snow, and the ice falling, or the ice melting, and put it all together. And it's funny because I probably wrote it in like an hour or maybe an hour and a half, just sitting in the kitchen. And but the voice notes that I have, it's like one big puzzle. It's funny because when I listen back to how I wrote that, I didn't have any words at first, but I kind of had an idea of that rhythmic hook, and then finally it just kind of came together, and it was like putting a fun puzzle together for sure.
It's cool. There's like two verses, and I've always been just using old Beatles. Like I learned how to write songs by picking apart Beatles songs and then just basically doing what they did. So I was always thinking, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, end. So I'm always thinking in terms of three choruses, but you don't necessarily need three choruses.
No, and I am primarily modern country these days. Yeah, and my background is pop R&B. I was a huge NSYNC, Justin Timberlake, back in the late '90s. Craig David was one of my favorites, a big R&B guy from Europe, and Craig especially, and then Usher was a big one of mine too. And the lyricism, the almost rap singing, I would do a lot of that, and so I find I take a lot from my influences in that regard. But when you talk about structure of pop music and R&B, I'd say every single song back in that hit the charts back then follow that formula: verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, out. It was all the same. Listening to a lot of modern country now, it's very different. Even my producer, Matt Cable, who's doing a lot of stuff with, tons of amazing country artists here in Canada. When we were in studio, he'd recommend, maybe you want to shorten that. I remember in Pretty Like Margarita, he almost, recommended, and in a very tactful way, to shorten the second verse, because a lot of modern country songs now will do verse, chorus, normal, but then the second verse is half the length of the first verse. And then just to get right back to that hook, and going back to school and my students and just what I see, I think the reasoning behind that is that people in society I think attention spans are a little shorter than they used to be. So if you got a good hook for a song, I think the strategy behind songwriters and a lot of producers is if you got a banger of a hook, just get back to it as quickly as possible, instead of verse, pre-chorus, chorus, just get right to it. So when I was writing this song, as I said, I knew the emphasis was in the chorus. Every time I play it for people, they'd say how catchy it was. So I was just kind of thinking, does it really need a bridge? And then again, going back to Matt in studio, I pitched that idea. I just said, I don't think I'm going to write a bridge for this one. And mostly every other song I've ever written has a bridge. And then he just grabbed the electric and did something super simple that actually reminded me of kind of like a 90s sitcom, primetime sitcom intros. And I loved it, that electric guitar. I was a big fan of Beverly Hills 90210 back in the day. And as soon as you played it, I was like, dude, I think I could play the riff of 90210 over that. And you actually can if you want to try sometime. It's pretty, I got to pull that out on stage one of these days. So that was it. Just a simple track with a kind of a catchy guitar hook in the middle, and out we go. Yeah.
It is important to, when you are writing songs, to have some idea of what you want to do. Are you writing a song to be expressive, to experiment with audio stuff or whatever it is? Mm-hmm. But if you're writing for the radio, you have to think about how radio and how streaming is structured now, because whether or not you like it, you're existing in that world. So you need to, do it shorter because that's what people want,
No, exactly. And I don't, I wasn't necessarily, thinking about radio for this song. I have that, as I said, that pop structure just kind of ingrained into me. So, when I was writing it, I just think I'm kind of predisposed to catchy hooks. My favorite artist of all time, John Mayer. Just every single song of his, I love all his albums. But what I find about John, and he'd probably self-admittedly tell you, he's not the strongest vocalist in the world, although he has, gotten, so much better from the start of his career to now. But I mean, songwriting, lyrically, guitar, it's just captivating. Certainly one of the best of our time, and I'm pretty confident when I say, because I know his music so well, that every single song to me sounds different. Every hook, all his lyrics, there's not a lot of similarities. And I have a tendency to hear one song, be like, oh, that sounds like this, or that sounds like that. I find John's pretty unique. So when it comes to writing, unique, chorus hooks, I'm pretty critical of myself, always asking, does it sound like something? Did I, subconsciously take this from something or what, before I actually make sure that that's what I want to roll with. And I think just some of my influences from back in the day, helped that part of my writing for sure.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with John Mayer. He's great. But
No.
The other question for me about this song is this question, not necessarily of complexity versus simplicity, but how much do you need? Like, you've got that awesome rhythmic hook in the chorus, and the chorus as a whole is quite catchy, and it's just as long as the verse. You've got a double chorus and a lot of imagery, right? And so you've got arguably rhythmic complexity, lyrical complexity, in that you are exploring a lot of different images and stuff like that. So the things that you keep simple, it's a 1-6-4-5 for the most part. It's structurally very simple: verse chorus.
Yeah.
Bridge, which is the chorus structure.
Yes, exactly.
And out, right? And also the whole idea of like, okay, it didn't feel right to put a bridge in this song. I feel that's often the case when your idea is very streamlined and focused, like this one is. It's a very simple love song, but you got those interesting images to sort of make it your own, so to speak, right? Like it's kind of different in that sense, right? But yeah, you're not telling us a story that's going from A to B and there's a climax and denouement.
Correct,
that sort of, it's not literary in that sense, and it's not it's not kind of issue based where you might want to see it from a different angle, and that's what the bridge is often good at, right? So in that sense, sure. I think it's probably the right decision to not go to a lyrical bridge that takes you somewhere else. It wouldn't feel right in the scope of the song.
Yeah, and I think, lyrically too, had there been a bridge in there, I think just adding more words to what already could be perceived as maybe a wordy chorus, especially when you get to that, we're nothing like when it gets to that part there. I just didn't feel it was overly necessary. And that's kind of why in the pre-chorus too, we were waiting, didn't know we were waiting. It's just very simple and slower. And then just kind of let the chorus, do what it does. But I mean, I have a tendency to try to squeeze, a lot of words in a lot of my other songs in a short cadence, just a short area. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in this one, eventually all the Plinko chips, it fell the right way for sure.
It's interesting that how your verses have, in comparison, very few words versus the chorus, which is so often the opposite of so many pop songs. Usually they have like a fairly involved verse, and then the chorus is yeah baby, yeah baby, yeah baby, sandwich, and that's and that's the chorus song. But this is the exact opposite. You have these very kind of light verses, and then you have a chorus which is very dense, but that very kind of, that is sort of a bit of that sort of 90s sort of rap rock thing,
exactly. And Neil made a good point too, that the lyrics itself, it's not a very specific story. Like, it's not from A to B, right? There's not a beginning, middle, and an end. So there's a lot of imagery, and I wanted the song for other other people in relationships, whether they're in a current or past or one that they're fond of, they'd be able to just take the imagery and apply it to themselves. Walking beside you or moving hand in hand. I want to do life without you. You're my best friend. So they're relatable things, but not necessarily telling a literal story. Even though to me, from a personal sense, it does have, the words do have personal meaning, but it's still kind of opaque, if that's a word I can use, that anybody can kind of look at it and perhaps adapt it to to their life or experiences, and not pigeonhole the lyrics one way or another.
And that's what you want to do, I think, and that's what I always said. I know not everyone loves Bono, but he has a great ability to write songs that are sound specific, but also can be interpreted by anyone, and that's really good.
No question.
This is a country song. If I heard it, I would think it's country, but country music seems to have changed a lot since 20 or even 10 years ago. Because this, like, there's countryness, but it seems to be getting like sort of more poppy as time goes on. What is your opinion of this changing country thing?
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's a defined category now: pop country, modern country. Names like Morgan Wallen, obviously, arguably the biggest pop country name in the world. A lot of crossover to top 40 popular radio. A lot of these artists are doing work with pop artists or rap artists and hip hop. It's just such a massive genre. Around the ages, between 18 and, 25, 30. So, these festivals and just the party atmosphere. I think pop music, pop country has definitely, percolated with the younger audience. And that's because of, again, just personally my pop R&B background. That's the kind of music that I've gravitated to. Not to say that traditional country hasn't influenced me at all, because I do love traditional country. There's a young guy right now, 27 years old. His name is Zach Top. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he opened last week at Budweiser stage for Dierks Bentley, and he is your absolute throwback, nostalgic country voice. And he is super tough. They actually I heard the Grammys, I'm kind of rambling now, just opened a brand new category for next year's awards of traditional country. But obviously new artists are performing it. So you heard it. If you haven't heard of Zach Top, I guarantee you he takes that award next year. And so there's still absolutely love for that traditional country. But back to what you're saying, Phil, it's massive. And because that's kind of my background, that's kind of what I write. And when I was in studio with Matt, I said, I really don't want, it's still got to have a country feel to it. And so, there's steel guitar in it. And, the way that I play with my voice a little bit, I think it borders on the modern country. And the last thing I'll say about this song specifically and the type of country song it is, I was asked to bring some reference tracks, for the vibe, like what kind of vibe are you looking for? And there's a song by Thomas Rhett and a song by Jordan Davis. And, if you listen to the instrumentals of the two reference songs that I gave Matt, that I love from both of these artists, and you take the vocals out of it, it's pop music. There's not a lot of traditional country, banjo, steel guitar, it depends on the track, depends on the vibe, but country music at its core, it's all about storytelling and, different instrumentation and trying different things. And with the crossover on radio, I thought it would work. And so far, so good. We'll see how it does on radio in a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and that's I guess country has been for a long time now actually going through this morphing and collision with all these different genres, hip hop and pop, and everything's kind of colliding, and traditionalists. Yeah. I don't know if it's confusing as such, but it's
I meant fusion. They're fusing.
Oh,
together.
Fusion. Yeah. Fusion of things, right? And pop has been good at that. Pop's collided with fused with jazz, it's fused with metal, it's fused with hip hop, it's fused with everything. So I think pop is really good at just sort of taking over those sorts of things. Because that little rhythmic hook thing that would never show up in a traditional country song. And like you say, the verse, chorus, bridge, verse, or chorus, it may not show up either, right? And it might, but it would be behind the beat. This approach is sort of on top and in front, which is a rap thing. Yes.
Where if it was traditional country, there'd, some of Hank Williams stuff.
Yeah.
So but it would be kind of a little bit more
Yes,
behind.
that is very true.
Yeah.
And just to exemplify, just how big country music is and how it's drawing in other artists. I mean, two big names obviously are Post Malone, who put out a country album, and I had the amazing pleasure to see him at Rogers Center about a month ago. Greatest show I've ever seen. And he comes out and he did three hip hop songs, and then he would do an hour of country, and rare talent to be able to do that. But and say what you want about what happened at this year's Grammys, but I mean, Beyonce won Best Country Album, so that you want to talk about arguably one of the biggest R&B artists of all time winning a country award at her first go. It's
and hence why they're introducing a traditional country category.
Well, exactly.
Right?
You know what? That's a good point. That's probably exactly why they did that. I probably got a lot of backlash on that.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. It's a big deal,
and it's perfectly fair, right? Because it's Beyonce's not traditional country, but she's country, so it's all right.
Exactly. She's from Texas, so she's definitely got that badge to wear.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, categorizing music as a whole,
for sure.
We try not to go there. At least I try not to go there.
Exactly.
So, what's the plan for this song? You've the label's released it now, or is it?
Well, I'm kind of my own label, which is an interesting learning experience. I held off on releasing original music for a long time, or writing it, and finally this past January I said, okay, it's time to go. So I did Pretty Line Margarita, which I'm honored and pleased to say is on Canadian radio right now. You said you're in Newfoundland right now, Phil. Well, actually, is that where you're? Typically, you're just visiting, or
well, I'm originally from Toronto, but I moved out here.
Okay, very nice. Yeah. So the Bay 100.1 FM out there, they've been incredibly supportive, and have spun Pretty Line Margarita more than any station in Canada right now. So it is over there, as well as just starting to percolate. So the plan for this song, kind of the same. I'm just kind of learning the ropes of how to get songs out on Canadian radio, and probably mid-July, I'm looking at putting Nothing Like When We Met out there as well. And you just kind of cross the fingers and, shake hands and thank stations when they're willing to pick it up and see where it goes. But definite learning experience. And I think it's catchy enough that it could have some crossover appeal, and just hope people enjoy it. So until then, it's on digital platforms for sure.
Awesome. And then 100% DIY. It's amazing.
We're learning.
That's true.
Yeah. And the nice thing, of course, music production is so democratized now that everyone can do everything themselves.
Exactly.
It's a great opportunity.
For good or for bad.
For good or for bad. I mean, your pick, but at least it's available. Alrighty.
Well, thank you very much, guys. This has been awesome.
Yeah. This has been great. Okay, I think I'm hearing the band. That's all the time we have on Song Talk Radio. Special thanks to Cam Brown. And, of course, where can our listeners find out more about you and hear some more tunes?
Yeah, you can. I am on Spotify, Cam Brown. My main social media is at Cam Brown Music on Instagram, and that's where I typically throw all my stuff up there. So not too hard to find.
Awesome. Yeah. And of course, we'll put links to that on the show post for this episode.
Awesome, thank you.
And we want to hear from you, so please send your comments on Facebook or Instagram to @SongTalkRadio, or send us an email at feedback@songtalk.ca. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube channel for live performance videos and full episodes, and subscribe today to the Song Talk Radio podcast on your favorite podcast provider. And please support us at our Patreon page. You can visit songtalk.ca/support. Thank you to everyone who supported us so far. You can find links to all the products, books, and web services we mentioned on the show on our resources page on the website. And please join us at our next monthly Song Talk meetup. Whether you're in Toronto for in-person meetups or anywhere in the world for our online meetups, it's free to join on Eventbrite and free to attend the meetup. Bring a song and a lyric sheet and get constructive feedback from other songwriters. Stop by songtalk.ca for the link. You can follow me at neilmodi.com. You can follow Phil.
PhilEmery.ca.
And of course, Cam, your favorite social media platform you mentioned is already Instagram.
You got it. That's the one.
Where all the musicians live. Be sure to follow Cam there. Be sure to stop by the website, songtalk.ca, to browse past shows and find out how you can be a guest. Thanks for tuning in, and keep on writing.
writing.
So long.
I'm on Friendster at mp3.com. We're out.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right,
great stuff.
All right, thanks very much, guys. That was awesome. Love talking to you. That was
that was
fun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that discussion about categorizing music reminded me of like way back in the day. Sarah McLachlan released "Falling Towards Ecstasy." We heard it on the radio. I was like, "This is amazing!
Yeah.
Gotta go find the CD." Went downtown HMV, walked in the store, not on the charts at the like the top 10 at the front of the store. I was like, "Oh, that's weird. I've been hearing it nonstop on the radio." It's not on the chart. Okay, fine. Maybe it's in the pop section. Okay, I went over the pop, flipping through the CDs. Can't find Sarah McLachlan. I'm like, what is going on here? Finally, I asked one of the employees, I'm looking for the new Sarah McLachlan CD. It's just released. Where is it? Oh, she's under adult contemporary.
Oh, no way. Okay.
And for a moment, I was like horrified. I'm like, 22 years old. I'm like, oh my God, I'm listening to adult contemporary. But at a certain point, I was just like, who cares? I like it.
Well, that's it.
If you want to call it adult contemporary, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a great reference to that. No, it's weird where songs can end up, and definitely ask myself, how does this one sound? How does this one sound? Where would it fit? But it's just such a broad category now: country, alt country, country rock, modern country, pop country. Because I've tried once or twice to apply for these. American songwriter, you see them every once in a while, but you got to choose your category, and they're all there. There's like 10 different countries to choose from. So, you know what? It's good, I guess, if you kind of like writing a bunch of different stuff. But it's definitely not one size fits all anymore. No,
certainly not. It's true too. Even if I go through my iTunes library, same artist. If each album has got a different genre on it.
For sure. For sure.
I don't know.
No, it's interesting world out there.
Well, it's good. Back in the day, the labels would always go, "Oh, this album's too different from the last one. We want another one like the one you had before." And the other one saying, "I wrote those songs when I was like 16. I don't."
No, I know. No, it's good to evolve for sure. That's the thing. You get too pigeonholed, and but a work in the industry, a working formula is a great career, and over and over and over again the same thing. But I like to try to diversify. So hoping to get back in studio, in the fall, and I got some new tunes to throw up that definitely sound different than Nothing Like When We Met, and we'll see where it all goes. But
cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Love to do this again if you ever need me sometime.
Yeah, love to have you on.
So, thank you very much.
It takes about a week for us to edit it, but once we do, we'll send you an email, and if you could share the show with your peeps.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Peeps is what the kids call stuff.
That's definitely what they do.
They do, the young people. And so share with those, your group, and that would be awesome.
I definitely will. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, man.
All right.
Take care.
Have a great night. Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Cheers.